Check out my brand new sound design course along with all of my samples and presets by using the links below. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This one is more of like an organic type of Jonas Blue house beat, and here's a quick preview of the song. So yeah, there's not much happening. A lot in this song is based on the groove of it, and just like all the guitar elements, the lead whistle's quite cool. It's more of an organic type of sound. Lots of processing as well, so let's get into it. So step one always is to name your project something random. WeU_2. Just kidding, we're gonna start off with the guitar pluck. I'll probably build my way up so of how I actually started the song. The final thing I did was the main lead whistle. Just took me forever. I'll just show you guys all this, but we got the guitar pluck. I essentially just played 3 chords. And I don't really know how to play guitar, but I knew what chords I was playing. So they're out of time, they're out of everything. And then I just chopped it up and pieced it together. It's not an ideal way to play, but I only use guitar as like a writing tool. I'm not like an expert by any means in guitar. Instead of starting this inside a piano roll with like a synth, I just think it's more fun to use an instrument. We go from 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, 5, 6, then we go down to the 3 chord. Just a nice little ending, and then that's pretty much it. The processing, OTT. The main thing in this, honestly, is this Corey Wong, and honestly, it's just like a bunch of compression, and it just makes it sound a lot better. And then this reverb is giving it that room effect, and this is actually massively important. Then after that, I'll come back to the whistle in a second. That's when I added all these drums. I probably started right here. Great drums. I love the beat of this, like simple drums, simple sounds. So I've been into like organic type of sounds lately, just like using that phrase. Been trying to incorporate all that into just overall drums and percussion. But I've just been recording literally a bunch of random things. So this gives the kick a little bit of like space, a little bit more of like an organic type of feel. And then for the overall beat, we just got some other percussions right here, helping us with the little snare. And then just like some other stuff thrown in here as well. Nice little fill here. And one thing about drum fills is something you guys can actually take away from this video. I heard this somewhere, but drum fills tell the listener something is done. Like you're finishing this section, but something's coming. That's what drum fills do. They separate 2 parts. That's what fills actually do when you like think about it that way. You think about that naturally. What I'm trying to get at here is for drums, and I think it's like massive for the overall arrangement of your songs. You know, a common trick is to take the kick out, take out all the elements on like the last bar. So you put a fill in there, and then you go hard on the second half of the drop, which is, we all know you bring in more elements, like some more loops, things like. So if I were to, hypothetically, once again, if I were to just keep everything going, it wouldn't have a nice transition. Like everything gets in the way there. You got like this and that. It still sounds fine because like the melody repeats. I think that would be part of arrangement, I think, because the way you like the drums are so massively important for your productions. I wouldn't say undervalued, but I think you should spend some more time in where you place drums, where you take out drums. It's so important. Let's talk about the most important thing in this project and how it came about. So this lead whistle. It literally, I had the idea in my head to do something creative. I usually don't think like this, but I was like, how could I do something creative? Well, the first thing I did was to use a vocal sample. That's kind of like the first thing I usually do. And like I was getting literally nothing. Like I was just getting like the worst ideas ever. So that was out. And then I threw in this guitar loop from Nitric. And it honestly fit quite well, but it didn't fit with the other guitar in there. I probably could have like mixed it a little better to fit, but the loop sounds good in itself with the entire rhythm. slowed down from 126 to 105, and it just had this like nice slow feel. I still like that, but I was like, nah, I gotta do something else. Sticking with that organic type of mindset, I literally just whistled into this mic right here. And I just recorded that with this mic. And you don't need a mic. You could do that with your phone. I always thought back in the day, like, I need a mic. And I literally bought one way too early when I didn't really need it. But either way, I recorded that. I pitched that into, I went to pitch correct sample, loaded up a new tone. I think I went a little bit on the variation maybe, but I just centered it as well. So it was a little off. I literally didn't even pick a note. I just whistled. So that tuned it a little bit. This bus is packed. If we take everything off, distortion with RC20. Let me turn these back on. I'll quickly go down the line here. I don't want to explain too heavy. So we got RC20. OTT at 100%. I didn't even know it was at 100. So 100% OTT apparently. Wow. So you can hear that there's so much low end from me blowing into it with all the air. So we cut that out, and then I added some artificial high end with some white noise from ShaperBox. And it follows it too, which is great. So I think I put a little bit of release, cut out the low, the white noise. So this is almost like I'm artificially blowing into it in a way. And then a little more EQs, taking out what I just put in for some reason, boosting it again on that one. Let's give ourselves a nice background to look at there. And then yeah, Soothe. It is like a really thin sound as well, you know what I mean? It's really thin, doesn't have a lot of lows, but all the elements take care of that. I think in terms of layering, if you think about it, like your lead doesn't have to be this big thing. I mean, it depends what you're making. You're making like progressive house, obviously it has to be layered and things like that. But for this type of song, it's not about like this big in your face thing. It's more about like just the whole groove and like the overall vibe. Sidechain, if you guys see ShaperBox 2 at the bottom, it's always usually going to be sidechain for me. So that's what all the ShaperBoxes are at the bottom. That's it. I had like a ton of different ideas in here. Yeah, it's like a weird thing, but my favorite one was probably this. It's like an Avicii style. Sounds like his song Dear Boy. It sounds like that song. But I think this with like the fast beat doesn't really make that much sense, but I do like it. I like that a lot actually, but one final thing with the whistle, I do want to say. So we're using a sample inside of FL Studio. If we go to the wrench, or if we go, not to the wrench, if we go to the envelope settings, go to the pitch, we can add a little LFO. What this is doing is after like X amount of seconds, that's when it starts to get a little bit of that vibrato. So you can hear it kick in. And I do this all the time. It's such a good way to get vibrato like that. And it just gives it more of like, it's a good way to articulate it in a way, more organically, like I've been saying the entire video. If we take out the attack and delay, it'll start instantly. We don't want that. So if we put these back, so if we play a short note, it's not going to kick in. If we hold it for an extended period of time, it'll actually kick in. And it's at a very small amount. So 2% on the amount, and speeds at 21. You can play along with that if you have like synth leads or anything like that with the sample. Love doing this stuff, but that's how you can do vibrato on the long notes. And then the second half of that lead, I did introduce a higher, and this is literally the same exact thing. I duplicated the bus, duplicated the MIDI, and threw it up an entire octave. Just a little bit though, just to add a little bit of sauce at the end. Cool. Let me breeze through all this stuff. We have some synths. These are just kind of adding as some atmosphere. So this is the Africa pad from Prevail. Trying to cut off up a little bit of chorus and just kind of adding a little bit of depth to the song. And the bass is just going along with that same rhythm. I love this preset. So this one is from Calvin Klein bass from Prevail. I've used this so many times for so many videos, but great house bass. It's like a nice classic house bass. Here's the MIDI for the bass. So we got that 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. Let me go down to the 3, just like the same bass line from the guitar Plucks. And then that synth pad MIDI is just like basic chord versions. So the first half is like stabs, and then I evolve that more into sustained chords. Finally, we wrap it up with a little synth brass. So this one is the brass eyes preset, also from Prevail. If you layer that with like an orchestral type of brass hit, that would be the best, because you get that synth element and that real element, and that's just massive. But for this one, I just cut out the low end. We just needed the essence of a brass type of sound. So guys, that will wrap this video up. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know down below. I think there's gonna be a lot of future bass stuff coming out with the 2 packs, Nitric and Freeze. I've been making Nitric for ages, and Freeze future bass is going to be massive. But if you guys liked it, let me know down below. Talk to you guys later.